So the Norwegian Sun is just arriving here into Baltimore. It is a few minutes after 7 a.m. Good morning. It's cruise day.
Look what I found! Look what I found! Look what I found! So excited!
Hi, I'm Matthew.
And I'm Susan. Together we love to travel.
One of our favorite places to be
Is aboard a Norwegian ship at sea.
good food, drinks, and friends.
Make a relaxing trip indeed.
So come along with us.
As we let the sea set us free.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
As you saw already, the Norwegian Sun has made it here to Baltimore, which is very exciting, excuse me.
We're still waking up.
It's kind of important that your cruise ship makes it to your port of embarkation for the day. Just slightly, because it's kind of hard to board a cruise ship that doesn't make it, so. And good news, Trace's cruise ship made it to New York, too.
Ooh.
He's boarding the Norwegian Getaway today. And we're going to see him in Antigua. So we're super excited to embark today. We're going to go down and get some breakfast, and then we're going to go to our mystery location for the morning.
Pre-cruise activities.
And then we're going to come back, grab our bags, and then we're going to head over and go to the port. So let's get this thing rolling.
Here at breakfast, we have a buffet to choose from again. So I got some corned beef hash, a turkey sausage link, a cheese omelet, some French toast sticks, and fruit.
Okay, so I made a little breakfast sandwich with one of the half omelets. Got a couple other omelets, put some cheese and salsa over it, a couple hard-boiled eggs, and some mixed fruit.
Hey, breakfast is done. Got my coffee to go, and we're off to go enjoy our pre-cruise activity.
So we're just waiting on the Uber, which is coming.
I think so. There's the sun. Not going on it right now, though. We'll come back. Welcome to Fort McHenry. Home of the Star Spangled Banner, written by Francis Scott Key.
Star Spangled Banner, yet wave for 1912, the storm clouds of war had gathered over a young United States as the nation pitted itself once more against the might of the British Empire. For 2 years, the conflict wore on, from the British colonies of Canada to America's southern coast and out across the high seas. To draw off U.S. forces from Canada and damage America's economy and morale, the British Navy attacked and blockaded the nation's east coast heartland. Up and down the Chesapeake Bay they raided, destroying towns and farms and spreading fear.
So, the walls of the forts are called the ramparts, one of the words in the song. By presidential proclamation, a flag must fly over the fort 24 hours a day. Size of the flag will vary, but it must be flown.
So this is the ravelin that splits the enemy's forces if they attack by land. Because the front of the fort is the most vulnerable part. This is the magazine of the ravelin. We are down underground. So we came in there. Wouldn't want to be down here if a bomb came through, though. So this is a very tiny entrance, so I made Susan climb down in there. So the footage you're about to see is from inside there. And you can thank Susan for climbing down. Enjoy.
Hello, Matthew. So he made the short person climb down these steps here to take a look at the bomb proofs inside.
So this is a very tiny entrance, so I made Susan climb down in there.
morning and then once in the evening, because once we go home, we don't want to have to worry about if the storm comes in. So what we're changing into it now is a replica of the flag that would have stood above the fort in this location during the War of 1812 for the Battle of Baltimore here. So what had been going on before the British come in to fight us is that the British in 1813 came into the Chesapeake. They're going around the Chesapeake attacking towns and cities. Right? So they attack Havre de Grace and they end up burning a lot of that town. They attack St. Michael, but not quite successful there. And in August, on the 24th, they come into a little town where a lot of laws are made. Anybody know what town that would be? Our capital. Yeah. So they came into the capital after having had the Battle of Bladensburg, where a lot of the militia ran and didn't put up much of a response. And they come into the Capitol and burn down a lot of the public buildings. So buildings like the White House are going to be burned down. A lot of our nation's documents lost in that attack. And if you're a citizen of Baltimore at the time, it was said that you could see the haze from Washington, D.C. as the public buildings are being burned. So if you're a Baltimorean, think about what's going on in Chesapeake, right? And you receive word that the British are going to head towards Baltimore. How might that make you feel based on what they were also doing around the Chesapeake when they did take cities and towns? Would you want to protect your home? Right? So the Baltimoreans, right, in response to all this, are going to work together. They're going to work together, come together to protect their home and city. And the British, why would they want to come? Any guesses? So Baltimore is the third largest city in the United States at the time. It had also been a home to privateers. So in response to the British Navy coming in, the U.S. government had commissioned privateers. They received a letter of marque saying it was legal for them to attack British ships. And they would be called privateers. But if you're the British, what might you think of them as?
Pirates.
Pirates. Yeah. So Baltimore actually earns the nickname as being a nest of pirates because a fifth of them would operate here out of Baltimore. So they're coming to Baltimore to attack. Right? And they have some preparations made. So if you're a citizen not in the militia, you would have been involved in building a mile-long entrenchment over at Hampstead Hill. Every demographic, right? So unless you're in the militia, you're going to be a part of that, right? So likely you and me are going to be. You and me, it doesn't matter your age, right? Your gender, you'd be a part of building that. And then we're going to bring in militia. Right? So we'll have over 1,000 men here at Fort McHenry by the time you see the sails of the British ships. And the British are going to land at North Point on September 12th, and they're going to make their way towards Baltimore, heading towards Hampstead Hill, where we'd also have militia waiting for them. That doesn't go quite as they planned. One of their generals, General Ross, is shot and killed in a skirmish along the way. And it falls on Colonel Brooks to make the decision on whether or not to proceed when they get to Hampstead Hill. The thing is, he doesn't know whether or not the ships are going to make it past Fort McHenry. Because the British ships, their plan was to come by Fort McHenry, attack, and kind of surround the city. But we are prepared. We have over 1,000 men here, remember. Right? We've seen merchant vessels in the harbor. So then the bombardment for Fort McHenry starts on September 13th in the morning. And it lasts for 25 hours. Right? As all these bombs and rockets are heading towards Fort McHenry at a rate of about 40 seconds. Right? So if you think about, if you're a soldier here at Fort McHenry, if you're a citizen of Baltimore, right, the kind of apprehension you might feel. least the British commanders thought they overheard the plans, right? Him and government representative by the name of John Skinner come to release it, and they're successful. But when they are about to attack, they're not allowed to leave, right? If your commander who thinks that one of the men aboard your ship, who is part of the U.S. government or representative, right, had overheard your plans, are you going to let them go?
No.
No. So they're not prisoners per se. They're allowed to walk around the ship. They get fed. They're just not allowed to leave until the battle is over. And likely they're also not going to be told what's going to be happening. Right? So if you're Fred Scott Key, right, sitting aboard the ship, wondering what's happening during the battle, what are some things you might do to try to figure out what's happening? What are things you might look for or listen for? Right? Bombs bursting in air, rockets red glare. Right? You might look for the flag, but then you think about it, right? The flag, there's a storm that comes in the evening of September 13th. So it's not going to be flying like it is now, right? It's red, white, and blue. What else is red, white, and blue? The Union Jack. So it's not a lot of help to look for the flag, even though there was a fairly large flag flying. Armistead had ordered 2 flags to be made for the fort here. A 17 by 25 foot storm flag and a 30 by 42 foot garrison flag from Mary Pickersgill. So during the storm, right, they're probably flying that 17 by 25 foot flag, but it's still probably not very visible, right? So, but you hear the sound of the rockets, right? See them, right? It kind of gets, the battle's not over, right? So, essentially, during all that time, right, we're basically just holding on. The British would be firing at us. Our cannons are 1.5 miles. There were 2. So about where would they probably be sitting, you think? 2 miles? Around that, yeah. So just kind of right out of our range. We're just kind of keep them at bay. Right? And after such a long engagement, they decide they're going to leave because this is going to be a lot more costly than they had initially intended. They still had to go down to New Orleans. Right? So they decide we'll come back to Baltimore next year, right? And the bombardment stops on the morning of September 14th. Right? The weather's definitely cleared up a little bit. Right? But when that stops, right, if you are one of the citizens of Baltimore, or you're Fred Scott Key, Dr. William Beans, or John Skinner, do you know what has happened? No, right? There are 2 options, right? Either the British took the fort, right? Or we outlasted them, right? But you don't know. So what you might look for, what might you look for to find out? The flag, right? Right? So they are going to be watching. So George Armistead, right, being in the fort, knowing the battle's over, realizing his men have been through this long engagement, realizes that routine would help them afterwards. He's going to order them to do something that they do every morning. Any guesses what that is? Raise the flag. Right? So they're going to pull out the flag, that garrison flag they've been keeping dry throughout the night, and they're going to raise it to what tune? Anybody know? Yankee Doodle. So when they raise that flag to the tune of Yankee Doodle, that's going to be a message, right? That we have outlasted, right? That Fort McHenry is still in United States hands, that the city of Baltimore has not fallen, right? And so in that moment,